Saturday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. Tonight, the search continues for a girl who vanished 11 years ago from a DC homeless shelter. Yesterday marked the anniversary of Relisha Rudd's disappearance. She was 8 at the time. Volunteers who were out today searching for Rudd say that they were there until they find her.
Every year and throughout the year, we have canvases that are unbeknownst to the public, search efforts that are unbeknownst to the public. So we'll be here every year. As long as I have breath, I'm gonna be here every year.
Police say she was with a janitor at the homeless shelter whom authorities say they suspect kidnapped her. The two were last seen on video camera at a DC motel before she vanished for good. Police said a month later the janitor shot and killed himself. All right, an update tonight in Montgomery County after house fire last night. 2 people in Kensington were hospitalized after the blaze. This happened on Aurora Drive. We have now learned the man who was hospitalized has now died. While officials tell us the home had no working smoke alarms, they say they're still working to determine the cause of the fire. Meantime, new information about a fire in Gaithersburg 2 weeks ago. A man rescued by Montgomery County firefighters has now died in the hospital. This fire broke out on Oak Avenue February 16th. At the time, 50 first responders were on scene. The cause is still unknown. And happening now in Loudoun County, fire officials on scene of a large brush fire on Rosemont Farm Place. That's near Trapshard Court. We're told about 15 acres were initially on fire, but we're told no buildings have been impacted so far. Good news, we're told this was contained just before 5 o'clock tonight. State officials are on scene. No word on what caused the fire. 6:02 over to weather now. Meteorologist Scott Sumner. He is back after a birthday weekend off. Happy belated birthday, Scott. How's it looking right now? Live shot right
Well, let's piggyback off that story you just read there because we still have a red flag warning in effect till 7 o'clock this evening. A fire threat is still out there for all counties here, shaded in that maroon color here. We've already seen several of those. As a matter of fact, fire and smoke, the latest. It's still out there in Loudoun County, north of Leesburg, to the east of Culpeper. There's a couple to the west of Winchester, and then in southern Maryland, northwest of Lexington Park. There were some ongoing fires and smoke being seen here. It's a combination of very little rainfall over the last week. We've had a trace of rain, plus those gusty winds out there, which you see up to 40 miles an hour right now here in D.C. 32 at Leesburg, 31 at Manassas. So dry ground, very blustery conditions out there, and that's helping to create some of that fire danger that we see. Now that red flag warning goes till 7 o'clock. After that, the winds will start to relax overnight tonight. It'll turn much colder, dropping down into the lower 20s here, low 20s when you wake up tomorrow morning in the district, and some upper teens in places outside of D.C. So the weather headlines: breezy and chilly night ahead, plenty of sunshine on Sunday, warming by Tuesday, and some possibly strong or even severe weather on Wednesday. We'll get into that and the meat and potatoes of it coming up the full forecast.
All right, Scott. In Virginia, Arlington County officials are working to support recently fired federal workers. They say more than 25,000 federal employees work and live in Arlington. The Employment Center is now offering help with resumes, interview prep, and filing for unemployment. You can also meet in person and virtually with career counselors. Meantime, Montgomery County is offering resources to help federal workers who have lost their jobs. They've put all their resources online. DC News Now's Kevon Dupree walks us through the types of tools that are now available.
More than 77,000 federal employees live in Montgomery County. Council President Kate Stewart says the goal of a new web series is to let workers who've lost their jobs know that support is out there.
The federal workforce is facing historic changes due to the current administration's irresponsible decisions.
Kate Stewart, among those critical of changes by the Trump administration that left federal employees facing job uncertainty. Regardless of what you think of the changes, the council president says Montgomery County leaders are focused on helping people affected by them. That's the goal of the online series, United in Service and Support.
To provide residents with critical information on topics like health insurance and unemployment, continuing education and workforce development, and local assistance programs to help with things like utility bills.
Any family losing an income has a lot to cope with, whether that's rent or mortgage or groceries or, utility bills.
John Berg was a government contractor who was fired nearly a month ago.
These are extraordinary times, and I'm delighted to see our elected representatives stepping up.
County leaders are optimistic the informational series will help federal workers like Berg navigate these difficult times.
All right, today, federal workers got another email requesting their accomplishments over the past week. It's a renewed attempt from billionaire Elon Musk. The first email sent last week caused chaos, confusion. Many federal department heads told workers not to respond, and the Office of Personnel Management said responding was voluntary. But Musk has threatened to fire any employee who doesn't comply. Tonight in Maryland, many federal workers recently fired now look for their next chapter. There was a summit held to connect recently terminated workers with resources and opportunities. This happened this morning at Greenbelt Middle School. Local leaders, including Congressman Glenn Ivey and Prince George's County Council Chair Jolene Ivey, say workers had a chance to talk with federal employee unions, community resources, and representatives from state and local agencies. Many of the workers there say that their separations from their agencies was abrupt.
It was a very uncomfortable feeling. It was a hurting feeling because you give all as a public servant to the United States and we're just thrown apart like we're nothing.
In Prince George's County, there are 73,000 federal workers who reportedly live in the area.
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful.
A war of words at the White House yesterday. You might have seen this. President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky getting into that blow up inside of the Oval Office. Talks also blowing up to end the Russian war in Ukraine and ending with no contract for the United States to mine key minerals in the country and reap the benefits of it. We've got reaction from outside the Ukrainian embassy after the spar between both presidents. Horns honking. Signs with words of support outside the Ukrainian embassy in Georgetown today.
We're anti-dictators.
Ukrainian President Zelensky had just left the White House after sparring with President Trump and Vice President Vance.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong.
I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
Back at the embassy,
I think President Trump and Vance, Vice President Vance, are unrespectful with a person that deserves all the respect of the world.
Amid the back and forth, Sophia LaFontaine continues to feel heartbroken over Russia's invasion.
What happened to them? And it should not be. Ukraine is a wonderful country, and we need to support them.
Republicans like Senator Lindsey Graham are proud of Trump's comments.
We want to be helpful. What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful, and I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelensky again.
Maryland's sole Republican Congressman Andy Harris said this calls for diplomatic leadership, not grandstanding and performative behavior on the world stage. But Virginia Democrat Senator Mark Warner said Trump is abandoning our allies and embracing our adversaries. Later tonight, Trump doubled down.
We're not looking to go into a 10-year war. He's looking to go on and fight. We're looking to end the death.
Stay on top of that one. All right, new video shows the moments a Boeing 767 had to make an emergency landing in Newark just after taking off from the same airport. This is a FedEx cargo flight. Smoke was pouring out from one of the engines. According to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, this is all caused by a bird strike. All right, several near misses at airports across the U.S. are sparking some fresh safety concerns for flyers. A recent Associated Press poll says the incidents at Reagan National and a near miss in Chicago are causing a drop in confidence in flying. In Chicago, a private jet was seen crossing a runway as Southwest Airlines passenger jet was getting ready to land. The NTSB is investigating after confusion from the cockpit during that incident.
504, how'd that happen? At 560, your instructions are to hold short of runway 31 center.
A recent NASA study found go-arounds are common. There was a recent go-around at Reagan National. About 1 to 3 aircraft abort their landings for every 1,000. It's not out of the question. Earlier this month, the NTSB chair said flying is safer than driving. By the numbers, it is. All right, this weekend, a live figure skating tribute in D.C. will honor the lives lost in the mid-air plane collision over the Potomac. Some of the world's best figure skaters take to the ice tomorrow for Legacy on Ice at Capital One Arena. Olympians including Nancy Kerrigan, Nathan Chen, and Peggy Fleming will all perform. The event will be hosted by Olympic champions Brian Botano and Christy Yamaguchi. The skaters showing their support for families and loved ones of those victims affected by the collision near DC-8 in January. Victims included local standout skaters. And all the money raised from this event will go to the victims' families and first responders. Tickets still available, starting at $30. Happening now, a Mardi Gras parade. This is in D.C. It features stilt walkers, jugglers, marching bands, dozens of floats. There'll be a dance party tonight as well with live music. This is at the Wharf, ending with a fireworks salute. Mardi Gras at the Wharf kicked off at 3:30. Fireworks go off, time's a ticking, 6:30.